Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Fame with Tiffany Renee. If you are here for the first time, welcome as I adjust my camera. If you have been here before, welcome back. So happy to see you. Thanks for stopping by, and I appreciate so many of you. I said this in my videos that I posted yesterday. I love reading your comments. So thank you all who leave comments and questions and things like that. I appreciate it so much, like more than you even know. And the community is growing. I get a few more new followers, every time I upload videos, and so I'm just super grateful. And thank you. Thank you so much. So, on this channel, if you don't already know, we talk about metaphysics, quantum physics. We talk about vibration, frequency, spirituality, energy in general. We talk about faith, and we talk about all these other different ways and tools that we've been given by the Creator, by the divine, by infinite intelligence, by God, to navigate through this life, and just how incredible life can be when we do utilize the tools properly, consciously. Okay? So, right now, I want to talk about something that came across my YouTube feed when I was looking at something completely different. You know how YouTube does, right? And it was a topic called pretty privilege. And, I'm not going to say the person's name, the influencer who posted it, whatever. However, I saw it on another influencer's page, and then this influencer was referring to the original video that she saw. So she was kind of sending people there to watch that because she was giving like a psychological analysis of what the original video was, and the young woman who was talking about it in the original video. Some of you may have already seen it, and you probably already know who I'm talking about, but it's new to me. I just came across it like last week, and I watched the original video, and it was maybe 30, 40 minutes long, and it's gotten a lot of views. And I noticed that she had, I guess, multiple other videos that came after that, like in response to that, because I guess people had, other stuff to say or whatever. And she had a few more videos about it, and then she also had one about like body privilege and stuff like that. And I didn't watch all those other ones because the pretty privilege one was, it was a lot to unpack, and all I could think of was, I felt compassion for her, first of all, okay? Because I know what she's talking about, and I know what that feels like. Um, and I know what the body privilege thing feels like as well. So, trigger warning for anybody, I will be talking about my own personal experiences with these types of privileges. Um, that have to do with like external looks and stuff like that. Um, I might be talking about, traumas and, emotional disturbances and stuff like that. So just, trigger warning in advance for anybody who maybe isn't in a position to listen to any type of stuff like that, or whatever. Okay. Because this is a safe space for all people, right? Again, this is my personal interpretation. I will be talking about things that I dealt with in my past, and I will be talking about how I view things and deal with them in my present, since I've started my spiritual journey and my journey of understanding about energy and law of attraction and law of assumption and law of expectancy, and just how energy plays a huge part in vibration and frequency in how we experience life. So in no way am I diminishing or like trying to make anyone's experience less than, because it's 100% valid. All of your experiences are valid, right? Like all of our experiences are, because there are experiences, there are beliefs, so they're valid, right? So I'm in no way going to invalidate anybody's perspectives or personal beliefs or feelings or emotions in any capacity. I'm just stating my perspective based on my past and based on my present and based on the information that I saw in this particular video. And there's multiple videos about this idea of pretty privilege and stuff like that. And a lot of them, depending on what end of the spectrum you're on, some, are not very nice. You know what I mean? A lot of the perspectives are more negative because they're coming from people who are talking about it, who feel like they don't have it, right? Which is heartbreaking, right? And of course, then you have people who feel like they do have it and they are very vocal about the privileges and perks and the pros and cons that come with being considered pretty and having pretty privilege or having like this bomb body or whatever, right? So I'm going to speak about it from my perspective and what I think about the whole idea, and take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay, this is your world. Okay, this is your reality. You don't have to accept anything that doesn't resonate with you. Okay, so that's the disclaimer. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. I am going to say this statement and then I'm going to explain myself. Okay, so don't come for me. Okay, this is my perspective, right? Understanding what I understand now, how everything is energy, everything is a frequency. We attract what we vibrate. We attract what we emanate because we're vibrating beings. We're not still. We're moving, right? And we're made up of energy. And in order to have a life experience, from what I understand with quantum physics and everything, you have to bring things to you. You have to attract energetically people, circumstances, and things like that in order for you to have an experience. But where those things come from is solely based off of what you believe to be true, your belief system. That is what emanates the vibration. It's your belief system. It's what's in your subconscious mind, what you subconsciously believe to be true or possible or what you expect. And that can come from anywhere. That can come from childhood. That can come from what you see in society. That could be what you see in magazines or on television, or what you grew up hearing or grew up seeing, or what you were being told or, inundated with, or whatever. Wherever the foundation came from is irrelevant. The point is that whatever parts of those things you accepted as true, right? Whether you know it or not, that is what's emanating the vibration. That's part of who you are, your identity, so to speak, right? And so you are going to be emanating a frequency based on every single aspect of your existence. And you are going to be receiving experiences, people, whatever. You're going to be receiving evidence to support what you believe to be true or what you expect is possible or what you expect to happen based on your core narrative, your core beliefs about that subject or that thing. Hope that makes sense. So now into the statement I'm going to make now that we know this. There is no such thing as pretty privilege. It is an illusion. There's really no such thing as any type of privilege. It is all an illusion. And I'm going to tell you why I think it is all an illusion. There are universal laws. Some people also call them natural laws, the natural order of life. Some people call them God's laws. There are certain laws that the Creator has set in place that govern the entire universe. Some of those laws only apply to Earth, being a 3D, three-dimensional place. So a lot of those laws apply to planet Earth, like the law of gravity. The law of gravity doesn't apply to space because there is no gravity in space, right? So that's why you float around, the astronauts float around, because once they leave the Earth's atmosphere, there's no more gravity. So the universal law of gravity, a God law, a natural law, right? That applies to Earth. Just like other laws that apply to Earth that, I don't know, they might apply to other things too, but like the law of attraction, the universal law of attraction applies to Earth. The universal law of assumption applies to Earth. The universal law of expectancy applies to Earth. The universal law of cause and effect applies to Earth. The universal law of polarity applies to Earth. Like there's all these different laws that apply to Earth. Many of this, who knows how many universal laws there really are. Some people say there's like 200 or more, but there are a portion of those universal laws apply specifically to planet Earth, as far as we know. It could apply to other planets, but there are things that apply to Earth that are utilized, whether we believe that they are or not, whether we believe in them or not, whether we know that they're there or not. They're working. They're invisible. We can't see them, but they're governing our very existence. Okay? So anything outside of those universal laws they're not natural laws. They're not universal laws. They're not God's laws, which means they're what? Say it with me. Man-made laws. Man-made limitations. Okay? They're things that mankind have implemented and decided that these are what's going to be. Okay? There is no universal law of pretty privilege, or any kind of privilege for that matter. Do you see what I'm saying? And Roxy Talks, I love tremendously. She did a Mindset Monday a couple of weeks ago where someone had asked her a question in the chat and she was answering, and she was remembering a conversation that she had that someone had said to her, manifestation is easy for you based on how you look, because she's very beautiful, based on how you look and the fact that you're a manifestation coach. So automatically, you're going to be better at manifesting than the average person. And I thought that was very interesting that she said that. Even she thought it was very interesting because she, said that she picks up on that. Like a lot of people seem to think that about her, as if her personal struggles don't matter, as if that is not included in the equation. You know what I mean? As if her own personal issues that she's dealt with, her own emotional, issues. She has her own sets of traumas and insecurities and all that, and she works on herself 24/7, 365. Okay? She even developed her own famous 360 method to get your mind on track and to take control of the fact that you are literally creating your own reality. Like you are calling forth your own reality to you. You're calling forth what you want to experience, whether you know you are or not, because of your frequency, because of your vibration, because of the thoughts that you're thinking and the words that you're speaking. You're creating your own life. So she said there's no such thing as manifestation privilege. Again, there's no such thing as any type of privilege, right? Now, we can look at the world and say, well, you're like, Tiffany, are you insane? Have you been living under a rock? Look at all of these privileges that we have: male privilege, white privilege, pretty privilege, body privilege, wealth privilege, celebrity privilege, all these types of privileges. I'm not denying that they exist in the 3D, but I'm just saying they're not real. They can exist in our 3D reality, but they're not real. Like, they're made up. Like, human beings came up with that. And it probably stemmed from human beings who had inferiority complexes or supremacy complexes. People who already felt less than and decided that, okay, well, I'm not enough. And because they decided that they weren't enough, the universe was like, you're absolutely right. Let me show you how not enough you are. And started showing other people who they thought were enough, like people who they thought were beautiful, or they thought had great bodies, or who they thought should be superior, right? And the universe just showed them evidence of that based on their own personal beliefs about people, or about status, or about, life or physical appearance, or whatever the case may be. Because it's all relative, right? So it's still an illusion. It's still something that a human just created. A human decided, okay, this is what it needs to be. And other people just agreed with that. And so it became a thing. So, I mean, it really isn't real unless you perpetuate the idea that it's real. And you're going to keep being shown evidence to support how real it is, right? Because you can't not see evidence of privilege in any capacity if you don't first believe that there is actually a such thing as privilege and that it can apply to you. And it can decide whether or not you have a place in society or not. You have to believe that first in order to be shown evidence of it. Now, there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying that there's an issue with people who believe in privilege. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like, bless. Like, we all have our belief systems and things that we believe in, whatever. Yeah, because it shows up in our reality, and we see evidence of certain people maybe being treated better or being offered things, whatever, based on certain aspects, right? So, yeah, you can pretty much say, look, I see evidence of this type of privilege. You see it on the news, you see it in magazines, you see it on TV, you see it walking down the street. Like, obviously, it exists, Tiffany. Yes, it exists, but it only exists because of people's belief that it exists and that it applies to certain people. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I say that there's no such thing as it, because it only exists because humans perpetuate the idea that it exists. And so the law of attraction is going to make sure that we see it. Next, let's talk about pretty privilege specifically, the point of this video. This is an interesting subject for me in particular because I never really thought I was pretty anyway, right? Like, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to affirm too much stuff. Like, I guess I'll say the stuff and I'll clean it up, but I'm not saying this as affirmations. I'm just giving you all context, right? But even now, I don't know if I necessarily consider myself a pretty person. I mean, I give myself affirmations because I don't want to feel like the ugly duckling that I felt like my entire life. You know what I mean? So I want to feel better about myself. I want to be able to look in the mirror confidently and be like, okay, you cute. You know what I'm saying? And some days I can do that. Like when I have on makeup or whatever. Some days I do think, okay, you look cute today. But on an average, if someone was to walk up to me and say, Tiffany, do you think you're pretty? Like a Mean Girl, say you think you're pretty, right? I would not know what to say. Like, I wouldn't immediately say, no, I don't think I'm pretty. But I'm at this weird limbo where the confidence is not quite there yet to be like, yes, of course I'm pretty. Like, yeah, I think I'm pretty. And I say this with no ego or whatever. Yes, I think I'm pretty. Yes, I think I'm attractive. I haven't quite gotten there yet. So I would say, I mean, I think I'm okay. I mean, I think I'm average. I think I'm okay. And I need to get past that, right? Because if I think I'm attractive, then the world is going to show up to me. I'm going to be treated like I'm attractive, right? But I have to believe that I'm attractive first. So I will say, instead of saying that I think I'm okay or whatever, I at least can say I think I'm attractive. And it took, you don't even want to know, like 20 years for me to even be able to say that. Okay? Because since I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, I was just tore down like all of my childhood up until I want to say up until I was 20, but even beyond that. But it was mostly not, I was called ugly. Um, just I guess to have my feelings hurt when I was younger. But it was mostly about my body because I was always chunky. I was a chunky kid. I was, um, even when I was smaller, like I'm smaller now. I just recently, just in the last 2 years, released almost 40 pounds. And so like my highest weight was 312, kind of fluctuating, but my biggest weight was 312. And now I'm around with, random 2 or 3 pound fluctuations. About 272 has been my lowest weight. 272, 271, I think, had been my absolute lowest weight to date. And that's within the last maybe 10 years or so. And yeah, I had gotten up to 312 pounds. And, I did a video about it, about releasing weight by changing your belief system, because that's really all I did. You know what I mean? And I've been doing that for 2 years now. And I was inspired to start working out. I was invited by a friend, and she had a plan that she was paying for, and I work out 5 days a week, whether it's 5 minutes or whether it's 30 minutes. Like I just do something, 5 days a week, cardio, stretching or whatever, ab stuff, whatever. Now, my body is still in the process of transforming. I mean, we still got, whatever, but we also still have some muscle tone coming in as well. Okay. We still got some muscle. So, you know, slimming down, I was wearing a size 26 and now I'm in a size 2X, 22 now, which was huge for me because I still eat whatever I want. Right. like I don't diet. That was the mindset change. So check out that video, and I explained all the details of how this transformation happened. And it's the best results I've ever had in my entire life. And I've been on diets since I was 12 years old. Okay. And I'm 39. I'll be 40 this year in December. So I'm saying all that because as I got older, I started being told that, oh, you're a pretty girl, you have a pretty face, but if you can get your body together, then you'd be perfect. Then you'd be gorgeous. It was that. It was the whole, yeah, she's cute for a big girl. You know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, you have such a pretty face, but if you would just lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds, oh my God, I'd have to like chase the men away from you because then you would be everything. Then you'd find such a rich, good looking husband, and you could have pretty babies with pretty hair. Yeah. And that even came from like the home front, like within my inner circle, family, friends, stuff like that, right? Being told that, oh, you have a nice face, but the rest of you is a mess. You need to get that together because that's where your worth is. That's detrimental, right? So again, that probably goes into the more maybe body privilege thing. But I was not very confident. I'm still working on my confidence because it was broken down for so many years, for the better part of 20 years, and even beyond, maybe 25 years, really. And that's a lot to unpack. And you start to think that you're not worthy of anything because of what the scale says. Or maybe you're not as pretty as you hope that you would be, that people don't find you attractive, that guys don't want to date you. I've had a couple of relationships in my life, but for the last 10 years, I've been single, right? After my last relationship, because I did learn about law of attraction and I realized that I was manifesting the same type of men, the same type of relationships over and over and over again. They were toxic. They didn't see me, like actually see me. I still felt invisible and alone, even in relationships. I was super, like, hyper sensitive to how I looked, how I smelled, how I did, my hair looked. Like, I was just doing the absolute most. I was bending over backwards trying to please these people and doing everything that I could to kind of make them think, okay, you can't ever leave me. You can't ever leave me because I'm like the best thing that's ever going to happen to you. Like, you can't leave me, right? That really needy, clingy energy. And what did that do? It just repelled them. Like, none of the relationships lasted, right? So they treated me the way I thought of myself. When I had time to really sit down and think about it, I was like, my last relationship was in 2012, and I just really had to think, like, why am I having these problems? I would walk into the club, or I would walk into, wherever, where there would be people and nice looking guys or whatever, and they were not looking at me. I wasn't stopping traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as I know, I still don't know if I do. I don't know. But I started, like, it used to bother me at first because I would go out with friends who were skinnier than me or lighter skinned than me, or maybe who would be considered prettier than me. And I would be the invisible one. I was like the fat sidekick friend. You know what I mean? And it just it didn't matter how nice I was or if I was funny or whatever. Like, nobody cared to talk to me. Nobody cared to look at me. The guys didn't really want to dance with me. They didn't want to pay no attention to me. Nobody was buying me drinks. I mean, I don't really drink anyway, but nobody was offering to, you know what I mean? Nobody wanted to really get my number. And the ones who did were not ones who they were kind of unsavory characters. You know what I mean? And so I started thinking, this is the best I can do. Like, is this the best I can do? Like, am I that ugly? Am I that fat to where this is the best I could do? And I remember being out with friends, and one of my friends who is smaller than me, and we're about the same complexion, but pretty girl. And at least the guys always thought that she was. And I remember they went through all of my friends. It was 4 of us, and they tried to talk to 2 of them because one here, his friend was talking to my other friend, and he tried to talk to the first one, and I guess she rejected him. And then so, another guy came up and started talking to my other friend who was standing next to me, and she wasn't interested, you know. And I guess because he felt rejected by her, the pretty one, you know what I mean, the slimmer one, he literally marches right over to me and tries to pick me up. And I immediately was offended. Immediately. And I was just like, don't try to talk to me because my friend just rejected you and you think you're going to do better over here. Like, really? And then he just was grumbling something, and then he left because I called him out on his shenanigans. Like, that was so insulting and so offensive. It's like, oh, so you couldn't get the one that you wanted. So what, you thought that the not as pretty fat friend was going to give you a shot because what, you thought I was desperate like that? You know what I'm saying? The preconceived notions, especially with plus size women sometimes, is that this crazy notion that if you're a big girl, you need to settle for just anybody and everybody who's going to just give you a compliment or just look in your direction because you're so desperate because you're fat and you can't get nobody. It was that. And it's like, please get out of here with that. Okay? Please get out of here, because from my perspective, like, dude, you're not a prize. You know what I mean? Like, really? How disrespectful. So I have felt ugly before. I've been to a concert. I'm the queen of concerts. And I'm not going to say whose concert it was, but it was somebody very, very famous. And I was sitting next to 2 girls who were lighter skinned. They might have been of mixed race. Beautiful girls. Oh my God, beautiful. Small, petite bodies. Woo, woo, woo. And I actually brought a gift for the performer. And, you know, I was dressed kind of funky, kind of 80s, whatever, whatever. And my hair was cut super, super short, like shorter than Tony Braxton. Like it was short, right? And I had like a hat on and everything and whatever. And his team, this whatever artist team or security, whatever it was, I guess was coming out to find pretty girls, I guess, to bring backstage or whatever, which happens sometimes at concerts. And it was like, even the fact that I brought a gift, a very large gift as well, almost didn't matter. It didn't matter at all, because the person looked at me, whatever, and then immediately like kind of pushed me aside to get to the two skinnier, prettier girls and tried to, you know, talk to them and get them backstage or whatever. But I guess they weren't quite old enough. I don't know. I don't know. I guess you had to be 21 and they were like 20 or something like that. But anyway, I was just like, and was so disappointed. Like, the guy was so disappointed that they weren't 21 yet. Like, that they were only like 20. You know what I mean? And because they were so beautiful. And I guess they figured, oh, this is what, you know, the entertainers in the back would love. Like, this type of girl, they would like love to see them and have them hang out with them or whatever after the show. And I just felt like, oh my God, am I that ugly, or am I that fat once again? And that was just like in 2019. And of course I had to check myself really quickly, because by that time I had gone to several concerts and met many celebrities. And I was just like, okay, whatever. This is not going to define me. I felt my feelings. I felt embarrassed. I felt, you know, taken aback. I felt disrespected. I felt inferior in that moment. All of those feelings for like maybe a day or two, like longer than I should have, but really just like for a day or two, because I was like, damn, really? And then I got over it because I was like, whatever. This is not going to stop me. Like, you're one of however many people who I've gotten backstage to meet. Okay, whether I was this size, and when I was chunkier, when I was in the 300s, I was still meeting celebrities. I was still being taken backstage, still having meet and greets without ever paying for a meet and greet. I was still able to just maybe bring a painting or just bring myself and my energy and my personality, and that will be enough to get me backstage. That's how I met Nas. I had never seen him and Mary J. Blige before for the royalty tour. I was so hyped. I had this gold blinged out jacket. I did a video about it. Go check it out, about how I met Nas by just kind of letting go of resistance or whatever. It was, and there's pictures after of me and him and all that. And all I did was just tell one of his crew, I don't know if he has a meet and greet, but let him know this is my first time seeing him. And he got to my soul, and just tell him I said thank you. That's all I said. And he was like, wait here. Text me in 10 minutes. And he gave me his number, and I did. And he took me and two other people backstage to meet him. Just off of my energy. I wasn't one of the super pretty ones. I didn't have the bomb body. I didn't have, you know, titties out. I didn't have like whatever, which is fine, by the way. Okay. It's fine to have the girls out. Nothing wrong with it. But I wasn't dressed in a, you know, sexy way or nothing. Okay. I had on a gold sequence jacket. My hair was still cut super short. I had a headband on. Like, you know, I was completely covered up, but still there was something about me, the energy, the vibe, right? Where the guy was like, I'm gonna take you back to meet him. In spite of not having the ideal pretty look. Do you see what I'm saying? So I've met tons of people, and I will post some of the pictures at the end of this video just to prove a point, okay? Not to brag or to gloat, whatever. And some of them I did do paintings for, and some I didn't. Like, a lot of them I did paintings for. But I'm just saying, like, you can see, especially if you're trying to if you're interested in men, you know what I mean? If you're, you know, if men are your preference, you know, I'll definitely post some pictures of some like big entertainers who I've met, who are known for kind of being like crooners and like, you know, the heartthrobs or whatever. Like I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't matter that if I wasn't the typical pretty girl or pretty body, if I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I was still able to have these experiences. I met Omarion and he was like awesome. And I met Lloyd and Busta freaking Rhymes, okay? Like the Busta Rhymes. And I have a video about all of these. And the one of when I manifested meeting Busta Rhymes and going to the show and everything. And like, I mean, we took a selfie together. And after we took the selfie, my phone like froze a little bit to show the picture because I had the flash on. And he saw the picture of us and he was like, why you look like wifey though? Again, I'm in a crazy loud jacket, a black tank top and some leggings, hair is in a ponytail, and some red lipstick. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Still this size, thicky McThick, little chunky, still plus size. You know what I'm saying? Everything that logic or that society would be like, no, somebody like you wouldn't get the attention of nobody like that. I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, we took a lot of pictures. He recorded videos. He called me a royal empress, a goddess, a queen. Okay. And he would like, it was so much love, right? So much love. He kept kissing my face. It was just so much love. But I'm not supposed to be the type of girl to get that aesthetically, right? Why? Because I'm fat, because I'm not as pretty, because I'm not super light skinned, because I don't have green eyes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretty privilege doesn't exist, okay? It is your vibration that is attracting or repelling whatever it is that you have going on. Period. There. That's the statement. That's the statement. It is your energy. So again, I was watching this particular woman's video and I could feel the vibration through the computer screen. I could feel, because with such conviction, I could tell that she was hurt by it, and I could tell that she really truly believes in the pretty privilege, and she just gave all these examples as to why. But she also mentioned kind of when it started for her, when she was younger, and how she was told that she wasn't pretty. I think she like had a crush on somebody, and then in school, like in middle school or in high school, and that guy was just like, ew, what, gross or whatever, like, or just didn't find that appealing. And it just kind of crushed her, and she was so embarrassed or whatever. I can see how that would be a foundation, like how, her ego is trying to protect her from not having any expectation when it comes to men thinking that she's attractive. And, this is just a defense mechanism because that was traumatic for her. And so when we go through trauma, our ego wants to protect us by making sure that we don't have as heavy of an experience, like an emotional reaction like we did the first time. So what it'll do, it'll create an expectation in the Rolodex of your subconscious. It'll create a narrative that says, anytime you like a guy, you're going to be rejected. So if that is the narrative that plays as protection, right? So that you can never expect the best, you could only expect the worst, and it'll lessen the blow. You'll be able to handle it better, right? Because you're expecting it. The law of attraction is going to make sure that you get it, because the law of assumption, which is the frequency of things that you assume to be true, is going to catch that, and law of attraction is going to bring it to you. So it has nothing to do with how you look at all in any capacity. And the woman is not an ugly woman who made the video. Okay? She's more melanated, and she's pretty. Like, she wears glasses and all that stuff, but she was talking about her birthday, and she had her makeup on, her hair was done, and she didn't have the glasses on, and she was fabulous. And she talked about how she walked in, there was a group of men at a table, and no one even looked at her, no one cared. But then her lighter skinned friend I think who was of a different race or mixed race, came in and almost effortlessly didn't have as much makeup on, and had ample bosoms or whatever, and she walked in and just everyone turned around to look at her. And she said she felt horrible in that moment because I think it was like her birthday or something, and she felt really beautiful. But then when her friend came in and she saw the experience that, or the reaction that her friend got, it just completely like destroyed her. And that happened, in my opinion, because she was already emanating the frequency of, I'm invisible, nobody looks at me because I don't have pretty privilege, I'm unattractive, therefore I'm never going to get the attention that my quote unquote prettier friends get. Or I'm never going to get the attention that light skinned girls get. I'm never going to get the attention that, girls maybe with slimmer body frames or whatever get, blah, blah, blah. If that's the narrative that's running in your story based off of the initial trauma, and it's never been addressed, it's never been checked, it's never like, you never been able to put like two and two together to see how that is the problem. Like, if you just don't know, of course you're going to have that experience because that is the dominant vibration that you have. So you can say all day long, I think I'm pretty. Okay, I think I'm attractive. What's wrong with me? Like, there's nothing wrong with me. Men should be falling all over me. Like, I think I'm cute. If that's what you're saying. But your dominant thought, your dominant frequency is saying, I'm invisible, I'm ugly, nobody likes me, men never look at me, they always look at my friends because I don't have pretty privilege. That is what you're going to get evidence of. Because that is what you believe the most, and that is the dominant vibration that you are holding. So that's not just going to show up in your dating life, it's going to show up in every aspect of your life because it becomes a worthiness issue. And I'm not enough. I'm not enough the way I am. And the universe is like, you're absolutely right. Because the universe will never go against what we believe to be true, ever. So if that's what you believe about yourself, if you even believe that there's a such thing as pretty privilege and that you're not a part of it, even if it's something that you want to be a part of, right? Some people want to be part of the pretty privilege society. Okay, great. That's totally fine. So how about you start affirming that you are? Stop saying that you're not. Because again, just like fashion, the standard of beauty changes like clockwork. 1 minute this is in, the next minute that's out. 1 minute this is in, next minute that's out. So you already can't rely on society telling you what is considered pretty and what's not. Because it depends on whatever the new trend of what pretty is. And it's going to change all the time. Right? Like, just like fashion, it changes all the time. It's a trend. Like, there's trends of beauty. And we know this. We've seen it. Just like there's trends with fashion. So you cannot allow society or a group of people or certain circumstances to decide and dictate whether or not how you look is sufficient enough for you to have an incredible life. Like, you can't allow that. Even if you've had circumstances like I have. I was dating somebody. We weren't committed to each other. We weren't in a relationship, but we were dating. We did it for 6 months. And he used to tell me that he thought I was pretty. But I didn't know that he really had a big issue with my weight until he was going out one day with his friends. And he was at my apartment. He was ironing. He was getting his clothes ready. And then he tells me that, he's going out to this particular club. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go there. We should go there together one day. And he tells me, yeah, we can never go together to that club. You would have to go like a day without me or whatever. And I was like, well, why not? And he used to do music as well. And he said that he was pretty much like a celebrity there. Everybody knew him. That was like his second home type of place, right? Okay. And what does that have to do with us going? And he said, because they're used to me walking in with a certain type of girl. And I sat up and I said, so what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that I'm too fat to be seen with you there at that club because what, you think you're going to get clowned by your friends? I said, how do you know that those same fellas who you think are going to clown you for walking in with a fat girl won't try to get with me? You're assuming that you're going to get clowned. You're assuming that you're going to be embarrassed, which means you're embarrassed of me. We went other places together. We went to comedy shows. We went to museums. We went out to dinner. We hung out with some of his family. We did all these other things. People thought we were in a full-fledged relationship. Like, we even worked together at one point in time. But going to this one particular place where he clearly cared so much about the opinions of the people who were going to be there, that's when it really came to the surface how embarrassed kind of he was that he was even liking a woman my size. And I may have been even a little bit smaller than I am now. I may have been maybe in the 240s or 250, right? I'm in the 270s now. So I was smaller then even than I am now. And that was heartbreaking, okay? Because I was like, wow, this guy who I've been dating for 6 months, this is why we're not in a relationship? This is why you won't commit to me? And after 6 months, I told him, what are we doing? Are we going to be together or we're not going to be together? We're doing this for 6 months. What are we? People think that we're together. We act like we're together. So why are we not together? Why don't we just have this exclusive title? And he said, because, you need 3 things to be with me. You need to be a nice person, obviously. You need to be pretty. And you need to have the body, like a banging body. He said, and you only have 2 of those things. I said, oh, so because I don't have the banging body that you want, that means I'm not good enough to be your girlfriend. Okay, well, how about this? And then I completely went off, which I rarely do. I went clean off on him. And I was like, and we're done. Period. Now, we've talked since then over the years. And he doesn't remember it like that. Of course, he doesn't. But I do. And it hurt. It stung. And it took me a long time to get past that. Because I actually thought, okay, once again, evidence that I'm not good enough for somebody. Evidence that something about me isn't good enough. Physically. It's like I'm good enough to be with in the dark, but not where it counts. Like with, the people who supposedly your friends. I'm not good enough to be around your friends and the homies and, all that stuff. I'm not good enough for that, right? Okay. That was hurtful. I had to learn over time. I'm still working on my insecurities because I know that stems from childhood, just from me constantly being berated about my weight, even when I wasn't fat. You know what I mean? Other people projecting their insecurities onto me. I was a victim of that for several years. Okay. And even up until my 30s, I would still be publicly embarrassed by people close to me, people who are supposed to love me, because of how I look. Being told, I'm not happy with how you look. You need to be 100 pounds lighter in order to make me be proud to have you as part of the family. So I get it. Okay, because it does seem like, okay, well, people who are skinnier get better treatment. People who are prettier get better treatment. If you're living on earth like me, have we not seen tons of aesthetically gorgeous people have just the worst time in love or in life in general? How many people have we put on a pedestal right? Celebrities, athletes, dancers, entertainers, whatever. And they're aesthetically gorgeous, male, female, doesn't matter, all races, whatever, right? And we're looking at them and they just are constantly headline news because their relationship fell apart, their spouse had cheated on them, or they're being body shamed because they're too chunky, they're being body shamed because they're too skinny, they're being body shamed because they're too muscular, they're being body shamed for this, body shamed for that. But these are supposed to be some of the most beautiful people in the world. These are supposed to be hashtag goals, right? But they can't get it together, but they're being cheated on, or but they're being body shamed, or they're being what, right? So again, it's relative. Beauty is relative. Being pretty is relative, because who I think is pretty, you all may not think is pretty. You know? And the woman who did the original like psychological kind of rebuttal or insight to the original video, she even said that you can just be average. So you can just be an average looking person. You don't necessarily have to be ugly, and you don't have to be gorgeous. You can be in the middle. Like you can look just average and kind of plain, and that's fine too. And I see where she's going with that, because there's a spectrum where people have like unattractive people, and then we have super attractive people, but it's all relative, right? Because there is this huge gap in the spectrum of where people can fall from between those two extremes. But wherever you fall, again, is relative. It's relative to what you consider as being pretty, what you consider attractive. Because nobody thinks the same people are attractive. Nobody thinks the same traits are attractive. No one thinks the same body type is attractive. How many other people do we know, celebrities or maybe in your own life, who may not be aesthetically, according to society, attractive? But they have the most, like the sexiest looking partner, right? They can dress. They got it together. And you're looking at them like, how did he get her? Right? Like, don't lie. You know you done it. You know you've done it. Or you're looking at the woman, you're like, how does she get him? People do it. People have seen, come on now, right? And then it's shallow, yes, but people have done it. I think everybody's guilty of asking that question, not even out of malice, but because some people are so amazed because of this idea of pretty privilege, that only pretty girls get the tall, sexy, buff man with the muscles or whatever, who's doing well, who's got the money, whatever. But when you see a woman who doesn't fit that aesthetic, whatever, if she's short, if she's chunky, if she's got acne, if she has a bald fade, or if she's got long hair, if she's got braids, if she's got locks, if she's got highlights, and or if she's got whatever, and let's say she's got crooked teeth and she bites her nails or whatever, you see all of these things that's supposed to tell you that a woman who looks like that isn't supposed to be with a guy or with a partner in general, male or female, doesn't matter, a person who's super sexy like that. Well, that completely throws this idea that there's a such thing as pretty privilege out the window, right? Because there are people who are not aesthetically pleasing who get treated like royalty. There are people who I guess society might not think is very cute or pretty or handsome or attractive, and they get treated like royalty everywhere they go. And I don't just mean like entertainers, I mean average people as well, because they are emanating a vibration of, I'm good just the way I am. I'm enough. And just because I exist, I deserve the best. And the universe says, you're absolutely right. Not everybody is super confident. Not everybody looks at themselves in the mirror and thinks, oh, yes, I'm fly. I'm cute, I'm sexy, I got it together, loving all of this. Everybody doesn't do that. Everyone is not in a place to accept how they look, where they are as they are, right? Everyone's just not there, and that's fine. We're all on a journey. Some people are there. Some people are in the process of getting there. Some people are just starting. Some people haven't even been able to take the first step to that yet, right? Bless. We are where we are. But my point is because I know this video is like about to be an hour long, but the point that I'm trying to make is that if you show up for yourself, believing that you're not attractive and that you're not good enough and that you don't deserve any form of, privileges or perks or benefits or whatever because of how you look, then the universe is going to honor that, because that is what you expect. You're expecting to be overlooked. You're expecting to be invisible. You're expecting to be denied things. You're expecting to not get assistance. You're expecting the worst. You're expecting to be completely invisible to the world, and you're expecting to be treated like a second-class citizen. You're expected to not getting any attention when you go out and all that stuff. Like, you're expecting it. So if you're expecting it, it must come to pass, because that's the vibration that you're sending out to the world. You want the world to show you that you're right, and it's going to do that, whether you consciously know it or not. That's what's happening. That's why you keep getting those results. It has nothing to do with how you look. Nothing to do with how you look. I started going to karaoke nights by myself years ago, back in like 2008, 2009. And Single Ladies had just come out. Huge song, obviously, Beyonce's Single Ladies. And I would go, and just because I watched the video so much, because it was always on TV, right? I just picked up the choreography in my head. Didn't try to learn it. I just watched it so many times. And then one day the song came on when I was out. And I just got up and just did the dance. And I was 200 plus pounds. You know what I mean? And I just got up and just started doing the dance in front of the little bar lounge, in front of everybody. Didn't care. People cleared the floor. They let me do the entire dance routine from beginning to end. The entire dance routine. The place erupted in screams, right? Everybody was cheering for me. People were coming up to me. They were calling their friends and their cousins to come, because they're like, this girl, she just did this Beyonce. It was the whole thing. One time I was there, I did it 4 times. I did it 4 times because people kept requesting that I do it, because they wanted to see me do it. I did it 4 times. Because they were like, oh my God, you got to see this girl. And so at first I was like, I don't know. Like, do they want to see it because I'm fat? And they're just shocked that a fat girl could do this? I don't know. They would throw me money. I'm not even joking. They would throw me money. Okay. I would finish the dance, because I would just black out when I do it. And then I would finish it, and there would be dollar bills at my feet. And I'm like picking up dollar bills. I'm like, shoot, this is gas money for me to go home. Okay. People were throwing me money. Guys were buying me drinks. Like one night I had like 5 drinks in front of me, and I was just literally sipping on one. Like, I just, because I don't drink like that. And they just kept asking, what's she drinking? Sometimes I'd be like, Sprite. They'd be like, oh, she's drinking water. She's drinking Sprite. And they'd be like, buy her a drink. Buy her a drink. Buy her a drink. Because I did the Single Ladies dance? No, it's because of my vibration. It exuded confidence in that moment, I guess. You know what I mean? And I guess for plus size women, some people assume that you're not allowed to have confidence in any capacity. Well, clearly, come on now. We're beyond that, okay? Because, yes, the plus size community is booming, okay? With the confidence, yes, okay? But This was obviously like 2008, 2009 or whatever. And I would still get recognition. And I still do the single ladies dance when I go out. Okay. If I hear it and somebody plays it, it doesn't matter. I've done it in Atlanta. I've done it in Chicago. I've done it in Ohio. Like me and my aunt went out in Cincinnati, and I did it a couple times, and people just erupted. Okay. Again, they wanted to buy me drinks. They wanted to buy my aunt drinks. They came over. They sat with us. They wanted to take pictures with me. Like, it was this whole thing. And I was still chunky, bigger than this. You know what I mean? This and bigger than this. Because it's the vibration that I was giving out. I was on the floor dancing. I didn't care if I was the biggest one on. I wasn't in the cute little mini skirt, you know, with the slim body and the girls hiked up and this and that. You know, I don't wear weave. I will wear a ponytail, but I'm not a wig or weave person. My makeup is simple, even though it may not look like it. I don't do the contouring. I don't wear the false lashes and do the eyebrows and stuff. And blessed to the people who do, because it is gorgeous. I'm just not that person. I'm more of a nails person. I will do my nails, my own natural nails, and I will bling them out, and I would do whatever. That's just more my aesthetic. It's just blinging out and doing my own nails, right? So I just kind of keep everything else simple. But I mean, I'll go with my hair like this, and I'll go and I'll be at the party and I'll be jamming and I'll be dancing. I might have on a ponytail, a longer one, the jewelry, you know, whatever. Just doing me. And then people want to come up and start dancing. Then all of a sudden, everyone else, I'll go to karaoke. I'll do some Tina Turner. Then all of a sudden, the place is live. Everybody else want to do karaoke now. The people throwing me money for doing Tina Turner. But I'm not aesthetically pleasing, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. Your energy is what dictates whether or not you are going to experience things that you desire or things that you don't desire. Period. If you walk up in a place and you're dressed to the nines, but in your mind you're thinking, okay, now let's see if people look at me now. Let's see if somebody notices me now. Or why are you looking for people to notice you, first of all? Maybe that's an internal question. Why is that type of validation so important to you? Rhetorical question. You know what I mean? Just food for thought. Because maybe if you ask yourself that question, you can start uncovering the real reason why you feel like you need that validation anyway. Because we all have it. Like, you know, we all have our moments where we feel like, okay, I need validation for this. I need validation for my artwork. I need a validation for whatever. So I don't get okay. I don't want to say I don't get a lot of male attention. What I will say is I am not aware if I'm getting male attention. I will say that because that is more of an honest answer. I'm not aware of it. If I go out and, you know, if guys look at me, I don't know that they're looking at me. Completely oblivious. And it's the joke with my friends. You know, they'll be like, Tiffany, you don't even know when a guy's hitting on you. No, I don't. I don't know how to flirt. I don't know how to do any of that. If I think a guy's cute, I'll walk up to him like, you are so handsome. He'll be like, oh, thank you, sweetheart. I'll be like, okay, bye. And I just walk away because I'm like, I just wanted to tell you that you're handsome. Okay, bye. Like, I don't know how to flirt. I don't know how to be whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up in the Middle East. You didn't even date, okay? Everything was separated. Like, I don't know. But you could check out, I have a video about what I've learned being single for 10 years. It's on my YouTube channel. Check out that video if you want to know the whole story about me and my dating thing. So I don't go out looking to be looked at. If I want to go out and dance, I'm going out to dance. I'm going out to have a nice time. And I always meet cool people. I, sometimes get danced on. Sometimes I get acknowledged and, somebody will ask me if I want to drink or somebody just reach out to me. But I'm just doing me. I don't care if they do or not, because I notice that I get maybe noticed more when I'm just being myself. Like if I'm doing karaoke, if I'm just dancing, you know what I mean? And I'm out there like dancing, like not little two-step in or holding up the wall. Like, I am jamming. Like, there will be some choreography up in there if I know the video. Like, I will be super hype, especially if it's my jam. Okay. And I think people can feel that energy. They can appreciate that. And next thing you know, everybody's just crowding me and we're just all dancing. I'm just grabbing people and we're dancing. If I see the wallflowers, come on, we're dancing together. You know what I mean? And we're taking pictures and we're laughing at, I don't know who these people are. One guy wanted to dance with me and he took a picture. He wanted to take a picture of me. And then it was his girlfriend who took our picture. It was just so crazy. It's like, what? And she was, you know, considered very, very pretty, petite, body, you know what I mean? Whatever, blue eyes, all that stuff. But she had her boyfriend dance with me because I was jamming. And he came up, he was dancing. He was trying to grind on the sister. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, can I get a picture with you? And then his girlfriend comes up and she's like, yeah, can I get a picture of you too? And I was just thinking, okay, why does she want to take a picture of me and her boyfriend? And I'm like, either they think I'm super cool or she doesn't feel threatened by me because she doesn't think that I'm whatever. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Those thoughts will creep up. But then I was like, you know what? I don't even care. Who cares? Who cares? The point is that I was emanating something, a hot vibration, you know, and it was hot enough to make somebody who had a whole girlfriend right there want to dance with me, okay? And to the point where even the girlfriend wanted to get a picture of us because of that. Again, has nothing to do with how you look. Who cares if society thinks you're pretty or if society says that you're ugly? That has no bearing whatsoever on your life. It is if you receive that, if you accept that, if you take that to be true, if you embody that and you make that your identity, then it becomes true. So it's not the pretty privilege that you feel like you're losing out on stuff because you're not pretty enough. No. It's your belief in the fact that you are losing out on stuff because you're not pretty enough that makes it so. It is never the thing. It is your belief in the thing that causes you to have an actual reality experience of it. So just start telling yourself that, okay, pretty privilege, psh, what is that? That don't apply to me. Like, none of that privilege mess. I can look how I look, my body can look how I look, and just by me, being myself, being my nice, sweet, funny, fun-loving self, I don't have to compensate by being ridiculous. I don't have to compensate by being overly loud. I don't have to compensate by being overly animated. I don't have to compensate for doing anything extra to get noticed because my presence is enough that makes me notice. And if it's not, who cares? Because I don't care if anyone notices me or not. I notice me. And because I notice me and I'm showing up in that vibration that I notice me because I'm fabulous, the entire world is going to mirror that. You are going to be placed in a reality where that is the truth. And the entire world will show up for you and treat you like gold. I'm saying, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you what I know because I've done this for a few years now with my concert experiences. I was told that I wasn't able, because I don't know, but I wasn't rich and because I didn't have the look or whatever, I couldn't get front row seats. I couldn't get backstage or whatever. I've had more front row seats and more backstage experiences than I ever thought I could ever have in my entire life. Even to the point where my friends are like, girl, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with you. Who did you meet this time? Who did you go see this time? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying, like, again, not the prettiest girl in the room, not the skinniest girl, nothing like that. All of the things that you would think that society makes you believe you have to have, all the certain qualities that you need to have in order to get backstage or get in with the celebrities, I technically didn't have that, right? But I had those experiences anyway. Now, some people might say, okay, well, Tiffany, you're pretty, so that's why you got backstage. Some people might be like, well, it's because you did the artwork for them. Some people might say, well, it's just because you were so hype at the concert and you're in the front row and they noticed you and they love your energy. And you know what? Some people might say, oh, it's because you're caramel skin or whatever. All of those things are valid. It's possible. Every single one of those reasons are possible. And guess what? I don't care. I don't care. Pick one. Okay. If that's what you want to say, these are the reasons why you're having these experiences, because of one of these reasons, that's fine. That's valid. If it's valid because that's your opinion. I don't view myself as that. I look at it as, look, I just want to fit in with the concert theme. And if I want to wear neon green and slap bracelets and put on a ponytail, then that's what I'm going to do. If I want to put on a hat and a key ring like Janet Jackson, then that's what I'm going to do. If I'm going to wear blue mascara or blue eyeshadow or whatever, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to bring a piece of art, and my energy is going to be synced in to that because I'm going to visualize. I'm going to say my affirmations. I'm going to act as if, and that's what's going to happen. And that's usually what happens. It has nothing to do with how I look. In my opinion, it has nothing to do with how I look whatsoever. So I could keep talking on this for like forever, but it's over an hour-long video. So I hope you all can sit through it because I will be adding some pictures at the end of different celebrities who I've met over the years, you know, and a lot of their security, as you all know, if you go to concerts, are male. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, could they look at me like the other entertainer security and be like, nah, she ain't it? Absolutely. Swipe left. Yes, and they have. I've been overlooked. So that in itself would diminish the whole pretty privilege thing, right? Clearly I wasn't pretty enough for that entertainer, right? But it didn't matter because I have my own issues. Don't worry. Like don't think that I don't have my own insecurities that I'm working on when it comes to body image and how I look and all of that. However, when it comes to certain things, like what I can and cannot do, last year I celebrated like my 1 year anniversary of like slimming down, and I think I was down like almost 30 pounds or something like that. And one of my friends had commented like, yes, this photo shoot is amazing, you look beautiful, however, you were still awesome before the weight transformation, and you still had no problems getting front row seats. You still had no problems getting backstage and meeting celebrities, even when you were in the 300s, even when you were over 300 pounds. You still didn't have a problem getting VIP and manifesting things that you wanted. And I was like, you know what, she's right. Because it had nothing to do with how I looked. In the 300s, in the 200s, I still have the same experiences. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you think I'm pretty and you think, oh, she's just a pretty girl talking about how pretty privilege doesn't exist, bless, that's valid because that's your opinion. That's how you view the world, right? And that's how you are interpreting what you see about me. But again, you have to believe that pretty privilege even exists first. But your feelings are valid. If you think I'm pretty, if you think I'm attractive, and you think, oh, this is a caramel skin pretty girl telling me that pretty privilege doesn't exist and I don't look like that, just know, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I've had incidents where my looks didn't get me anywhere. Like I've never tried to get anything with my looks anyway. That's just never been a big deal to me. Probably because I was so self-conscious about my looks and I just felt like I was ugly so much. So I had zero expectation. I wasn't going to go out to try to get men to look at me because I already didn't think that anybody looked at me anyway. And so I could just have a good time. And then people did look at me. People would notice me. You know what I mean? Even if it was just for friendly conversation or just to be social media friends. Sometimes it turned into a relationship, or just good friendships, whatever. But I don't go out to expect people to look at me. That's not my objective. I don't care if people look at me or not. I don't care. If they do, great. If they're cool, awesome. If I make a new friend, great. Even better. But if nobody talks to me, nobody gives me a compliment, nobody offers to buy me a drink, nobody compliments me on my outfit or my hair or my makeup or my jewelry, so what? It doesn't make me any less attractive, right? Like, it doesn't make you less attractive if nobody is feeding you all of these compliments and validations. Like, if you don't think that you're attractive, then the world is not going to think you are. It's impossible. Like, you have to find that alignment. That's the word I'm looking for. You have to find that alignment within yourself. You have to trust that you are doing enough, that you are enough, and that you're fine just the way you are, and that you have so much more to bring to the table than how you look. And I'm talking to myself when I say this, because these are things I have to say to myself daily. Every time I look down at my stomach and these fupas, I have to remind myself, I am not my fupa. Okay? I am not my jiggly arms. Okay? I am not, I'm not that person. I'm not the little mustache hairs or whatever that I get. Like, I'm not those things. I'm not. Look at things about you that you do like. Because you have features that are beautiful, that you even think are pretty. I think I have nice eyes. I think that I have, like, my mole, my beauty mark. You can see it. Which I discovered I had when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I thought it was ink, and I kept trying to rub it off. And then it got darker as I got older, and it just stayed. And it's fine, right? People have asked me if it was a tattoo. They were like, oh, did you get that tattooed? Or they're like, oh, do you draw that on? Or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's just there. Just had it since I was a kid. It just developed. One day it was just there. It was really, really light, and it just got darker as I got older. And I've had it ever since. So, like, you just are who you are. You are who you are. And you are where you are. But remember, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. Because you are frequency. You are emanating a strong frequency. You are emanating energy. And the world is responding to what you are emanating. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say that you are. Whatever your dominant vibration is what you're getting. Now, if you want that to change, then use your words and your thoughts to change it. When you start feeling that anxiety or that frustration, or that doubt about how you look, immediately check those thoughts. Immediately. Roxy talks about it all the time. Flipping your thoughts immediately in the moment. The minute you're like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Just kidding. I'm super fabulous. I'm super fly. I'm gorgeous. I'm like the belle of the ball. I'm the prettiest woman in the room. Boom. I'm the hottest guy. Look at me. Look at this. I look great. I'm amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Done. Like, just say it. Just say it. Just say the words. Even if you don't believe it yet, just say it. Because the more you say it, repetition, you're going to believe it. The only reason why you believe you're not attractive and you don't have pretty privilege is because you've told yourself that enough times that you believe it. And now it shows up in your reality. That's it. Tell a different story. Change the narrative. If what you really desire is to be part of the pretty privileged gang, change the narrative and just start saying that you are. I get pretty privilege. I am part of the pretty privilege gang. I am part of the pretty body gang. I'm part of the body privilege. All the good privileges out there, they're over here. Every time I walk into the room, all eyes on me. People are always buying my drinks for me. People are just taken in by my energy. I step into the room and people are like, woo, yes. Just start saying that then. Change the narrative. But don't wallow in the limiting beliefs that I don't have pretty privilege, so therefore life has to suck for me and things that don't apply to me, and I just have to accept that I'm never going to have nice things. I'm never going to have a happy relationship. I'm never going to be seen as beautiful. I'm never going to be like, we're not doing that anymore. We're not saying that about ourselves anymore. Because if you are talking about the fact that there's pretty privilege, then maybe you have a desire to have it. If you don't have it, do you have a desire to have it? Okay, great. Start acting like you do have it. Start talking like you have it. Act as if. Neville Goddard technique. It's amazing. Sorry, my nose is itching. It's amazing. Act as if. What would somebody who has pretty privilege be acting like? What are the words that they would be saying to themselves? It wouldn't be the negative things that you're currently saying if you don't have it. If you are someone right now who has pretty privilege, bibbity bobbity boo, you have pretty privilege now. So how would you be acting? How are you going to act? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you talk about yourself? How do you dress? How do you address yourself? How do you address others? How do you expect other people to address you and treat you? What do you expect when you leave the house? If you had pretty privilege, or if you just knew that you had pretty privilege, you would leave the house just knowing that you are all that in a bag of chips and that all eyes are going to be on you when you walk in the best possible way, right? Of course you would. So start acting like that if that is really what you want. But I would encourage people, really long video, but I would encourage people, myself included, to continue to look internally, continue to look within, and really find out the true reason why you feel like it even matters. Why does it matter? And who are you really? Because remember, we're not even this body. We're not really this. This is just a flesh body that houses our soul and our spirit, right? So this isn't who you are. You are light. You are love. You are all things divine and amazing and wonderful. You are so much more than what this physical body is. So, like, that's the real beauty, is what's inside, which I know is so cliche, but it is. Because if that wasn't true, people who society have deemed ugly or unattractive or whatever would never have anybody. They would have no chance whatsoever, but many of them are thriving. They're in amazing relationships with hot people. They've got the wealth, they've got the career, they've got the family, they've got the good health, they have everything. But they're not supposed to, right? Because they're not attractive. Really? It doesn't matter. It does not matter, because it's an illusion anyway. It only exists if you believe in it. If you say it exists, it exists. And if you say it exists for you, then it exists for you. And you will see evidence of it everywhere you go in your life and other people's lives, on television, in the media, on the news. If you believe it applies to you, you will be shown evidence how it applies to you. Positive or negative, whatever end of the spectrum that you're on. If you think you do have pretty privilege and it's so amazing, you're going to keep getting evidence of that. If you think you have pretty privilege and it's not all that it's cracked up to be, then you're going to be given evidence to show how it's not great to have pretty privilege. If you want it and you feel like you don't have it, then you're going to be shown evidence of why you want it and don't have it. Like, it literally is whatever you say it is. Like, that's just how Earth works, based on the natural universal laws that are in place to govern the planet. You are what you say you are. You have what you say you have. Everything, anything is whatever you assign it to be. Whatever meaning, whatever definition you give is what it is. We're all a work in progress. We're all progressing. We're all elevating. And I am going to affirm that you all understand where I'm coming from with this video, and that it has uplifted you in some capacity, and it has hopefully made you feel better and taken the pressure off of thinking you have to live up to an expectation that is not even real anyway. It's just something that some people made up because of their own limiting beliefs and their own insecurities, and they're just projecting them out on other people. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay. And you don't have to subscribe to that. That does not have to apply to you. Just like anything else, it doesn't have to apply to you. If it doesn't resonate with you, or if you don't like it, it doesn't have to apply to you. Just say that it doesn't. Like, oh, there's a such thing as pretty privilege. Well, oh, I'm not in that category. Well, that doesn't apply to me. That doesn't apply to me. I don't need pretty privilege to define who I am. I don't need pretty privilege in order to have all kinds of amazing things happen to me. I don't need pretty privilege in order to have hot people hit on me and want to date me and treat me like a king or a queen. I don't need pretty privilege or body privilege or whatever in order to get where I want to go in life. So none of that applies to me. If you need that, bless, that's fine. But I don't need that, because I create my own reality, and everything is what I say it is anyway, and it's based off of my vibration. So preach. You can just decide that it doesn't apply to you, and that everywhere you go, you're the pretty one, you're the hot one, you're the handsome one. Like, you can just decide that, and it'll be so. Just keep deciding it. Keep choosing you every single moment of your life. Just keep choosing you. Keep choosing you, and you will see it will transform your circumstances. Like, it has to. I've seen the transformation in my own circumstances. Like I said, I will post photos of the different people who I've met, like, who are obviously considered attractive and stuff like that. Like, I've met Ashanti, and who is absolutely gorgeous in real life. Like, she's pretty in pictures and on TV, but in real life, when you really look at her, she's really, really gorgeous. So, like, and I'm standing next to Ashanti, and you could see all of her gorgeousness, and then you would see me. And some people might clearly be like, okay, Ashanti is way prettier. That's pretty privilege right there. Like, that is why she gets whatever. And then might look at me like, okay, Tiffany, you just look like a potato. Like, what is going on? Bless. If that's what you think, that's what you think. I don't care. That's not what I think. What I see in that picture is, OMG, I got to meet Ashanti. Like, I see my excitement because I know what happened during our interaction. She was super nice. She was super sweet. Like, I remember all those other things. She loved my hat. I don't look at the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm chunky in comparison to her, or like, I'm just not even comparing. I'm not comparing at all. I take it for what it is, which was an incredible experience meeting a really amazing artist who I like, and it was a privilege to meet Ashanti. Not to try to be like her or look like her. The privilege is just the fact that I was able to meet her. Like, with all of these celebrities, I was just honored and privileged to meet them. Not the fact that they look better than me. Like, no. So I'm done. It's an 1.5 hour long video. So I know, because I had a lot to say about this. So as you can see, it's something that's in my heart. Okay. Because I've experienced it. I feel you. I see you. I know exactly what you're saying. And your feelings are valid. Look at me. Your feelings are 100% valid. Okay. I honor your feelings. And you honor your feelings, because they're valid. They're valid, and I understand why you feel the way you feel, but I'm telling you, you have to change that narrative. You have to change that narrative if you want to change how you are feeling about you, because if you don't like the way the world is showing up for you, you have to change how you show up for you. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be your biggest support. And in the world, we'll mirror that back to you, because everyone is you pushed out. Neville Goddard, check that out. Okay, we're done. It's an 1.5 hour long video, and I appreciate you for sticking around with me. Again, I hope this inspires you, uplifts you, reminds you how fabulous you are. Male, female, doesn't matter. Whatever gender you identify with, you're fabulous, you're amazing, and you don't have to subscribe to anybody or anything, any ideology, any form of man-made mess that is used to further divide people and create ridiculous hierarchies that are completely unnecessary and detrimental to people's emotional and mental well-being. You do not have to subscribe to any of that. Period. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Thank you so much. And you all have a fantastic day or evening wherever you are. And you're amazing. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.